You've been in sexual relationships, right?
Duh.
How soon have you had sex with a guy?
Depends on the book.
What's the soonest you've had sex? Not a one night stand, but the soonest you've had sex with a guy that you were seeing.
That I was seeing? Probably like third date.
How much money did he spend?
Well, it depends on which guy you're talking about.
Average.
Average, cool. The date, probably like $400.
So you see, that's an indirect exchange, monetary exchange of money, right?
Yeah.
So my point, not to sound condemning.
Yeah.
Men pay for it regardless, either indirectly or directly. In other words, just like you mentioned earlier, you don't want a guy that come over Netflix and chill. It's like, no, dude, you gotta like put up some for not literally like pay, but you have to court. You have to court me, which means take me out to dinner if you're serious. Let me get to know you. Your guys are gonna spend some money. Now, if you're spending money as a woman, this is my deal. I don't agree with women taking men on dates financially. I'm old school.
Yeah.
Like if you can't afford to take a woman on a date, don't date her.
Yeah.
Like don't try to go to her house. If she's gonna let you in the front door and make popcorn, Netflix, chill and have sex, then you get what you ask for, right? But if you can't afford to take a girl out on a date, then don't try to date her.
Yeah.
And it's not about spending money. You have to pay to get to know, privileged to get to know her as a person. These guys are talking about, well, I pay for the first date, she pays for the second. No, that's not a man, bro. That's not a man.
I will fight a homie, bro.
And then everybody's like, oh, then
I will fight him.
And then I get these guys on my
if a dude ever makes me pay for a date, I will start treating him like a female.
Exactly. And then the guys tell me I'm a simp. It's like, no, first of all, I'm a man. I'm never going to allow a woman to pay for anything for me. That's just how I was raised.
Right.
So it's like, oh, no, this one's on me. Sure, there's times, and I don't drink, but there's times where, I don't know, maybe you go to. There you go. Oh, he's not paying attention. Fired.
It's okay.
Did he do that the whole show?
No.
So they're playing Roblox. No, I'm just kidding. But there's times we might go to a store like a mini mart. You're in there real quick and it's like, oh, my wallet's in the car. Oh, I got your Diet Coke, whatever, you know. But I'm talking in general. Yeah. Like, dude, how do you allow a woman to pay? Like what?
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
And the trend now, I see this 50. I'm like, and then there's women that buy into that. I'm like, don't do that. I'm going to have so many guys that see this. They're going to say, oh, he's a simp because he's paying. What did you think was going to happen? There's guys I know that have been married for 20 years that have paid millions of dollars being married and they're not even having sex. They're sleeping on the couch.
Facts, though.
Are you with me?
I've been there.
So my point is not to condemn you for doing what you did.
No.
Men are paying for some type of interaction with you.
But also men are paying with effort. Men are paying with effort. If you are renting a stripper for the night and you expect $400 to get the girl in bed the first night, that's not gonna happen because you didn't pay in effort. I don't care about your money.
Well, it depends on the stripper.
It depends on the stripper.
Let's clarify.
Yes, 1,000%. That I've seen it. Like it depends on the stripper. The stripper would definitely take $400 to give some pussy because she needs it. But me personally, I like money doesn't impress me. It's great. It's fucking great. And it's not like I don't look for a guy to have money because it is one of the first questions I ask is like, well, what do you do? What do you do? Because I do want a man to be able to have my level of income or more because I don't want to pay for dates.
Hypergamy. You date at your level and above. You date up. Men date down.
Exactly. You know that? Yeah, no, 1,000%. We all know that.
Now, the guys you're having problems with, and when I say socio and economic being financial, socio being levels, social. Like you have to have somebody not just that makes more money, but is actually going somewhere successful. Instead of saying, oh, I've had problems with these guys I've dated. Well, where are they at your level? Well, you say they're above me, maybe financially, but they're below you.
Yeah.
On a social aspect, right?
Because the thing is too, like one thing that I look for in a man is not his level of success, but the level of how many times have you got down in the gutter and got yourself out of it? That's what I want in a man. There's a difference between having a man who's successful and has never failed.
But I feel like you got to fall forward and fail forward, right? So how many times have I lost to get to where I'm at, and I'm still failing forward? So to be successful, that we talked about earlier, what's a high value man? So let's say you're a trust fund baby and your father gives you millions of dollars. You're not high value.
You're not high value. You're just a little rich baby.
So anybody that's earned it has failed.
Yes, exactly.
I failed so many. I'm failing. I failed so many times. I'm failing. One of my businesses now, since January because of the recession. Whether it's my fault or not, I'm failing. It's not creating any revenue in the tech market, right? In the tech space, that's where I thrive. So I'm creating a second business that it's in the works now to generate more revenue, but I'm always failing to move forward.
But that's what's attractive in my eyes personally. Sure. Like a guy will tell me like, oh God, one thing I can't stand is TikTokers and influencers. I don't even look my way kind of deal. And it's not anything that's against them kind of deal, but it's like you got famous and you're successful off of an app. Have you failed though? This app hasn't failed yet. And that's what I don't like is guys that are like, oh, I'm so successful on YouTube. I have 1 million subscribers on fucking YouTube. I do this on YouTube and all this bullshit. And I'm like, all right, great. So what? Like, have you failed? Have you like, one thing that I find attractive is actually a guy that's probably been through bankruptcy and is still a millionaire today.
Donald Trump.
Exactly.
But you know Vitali, do you know that the guy Vitali, the social influencer?
Yeah, yes.
So did you see his recent podcast he was on? I think he was on Sean McNally's podcast. I think that's his name. Yeah. He had everything taken away from him. And he was very successful. He was the guy that did that zombie prank where he's in the ghetto running around like a zombie, chasing people, and he's like, and everybody's running from him. Yeah. So I
don't think I've seen that exact one, but I know. So
Vitali, right, the Russian guy, right, the kid. Yeah. So he became very successful. Yes. They just took all his social media away because it was very controversial. Yes. And then he said he was talking about how he fell. And then he had nothing left. All he had was jet ski. And then he got a call that his jet ski was stolen. Like he lost everything. Yeah. Or Steve Will Do It, right? From Happy Dad, the beer or whatever it's called. He was on YouTube. He was making $1 million a month and YouTube shut his account down. Now he's coming back on Rumble, right? So all these guys have had the success and have failed and came back. Actors have done it, right? I remember John Travolta back in the days when I was a kid, he was famous. Right. Then he fell, then he came back, and now he's just like an average actor. Yeah. But you have to fail.
You have to
build
fail.
Character.
You have to fail. And that's the shit that I like it's weird to say, but that's the shit that makes me like want that person. I'm like, if you fall, even if you fall and you can't get back up if you failed in YouTube and now you're on Rumble, I'm like, fuck you in Rumble. How can you do a business indoors? Like everything that I do, I'm like, I have a door business. Fucking random. Now I have a podcast. Fucking random. I used to be a stripper. Like people are like, you have done so, and I did medical. I did 9 years of medical school. And I'm like, people are like you are everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, because you're not going to fuck with me. I'm not going to fail. I failed in the past, but I can definitely learn a new trade and still make money in that sense. So I'm like, I have different knowledge that I can still make money off of. And if you only know one thing, what if that one thing fails forever?
Those are all the jobbers.
I guess so.
I'm seeing all these LinkedIn messages. You know, I was at Twitter for 6 years, or I was at Facebook or Meta for 8. I was here for 11. And it's like, there's no such thing as job security. That's an oxymoron statement. No fucking thing. So everybody would ask me over the years, because I consult. I do it on my own, right? I'm a 1099, if you will, a contractor, or I have an S corp, and then I would hire software engineers for companies and other recruiters and myself. And they're like, well, you need security. I said, there's no such thing as security. I've been through 2001 recession. Okay. I lost.
Ooh, that was a big one.
Right. The 9/11. I had to sell my house for the property tax I owed on it. I walked away with no profit. I had just gotten married at the time when I was married. And I had no kids, and I struggled. Then built myself back up. 2008 came, the Great Recession. Did it again.
Yeah.
And both times I started 2 new businesses.
Completely new, right?
And then they were gone. And so then, but in 2008, I had children. I had 2 kids. And so then, and a wife at the time. So now I'm like, oh crap, right? And so then I struggled through that. I actually came down here in 2009 and I played poker full time, cash games.
Nice.
Because I had no income. And then I'm from Seattle, and then Seattle's like, hey, we're back on fire. It was 2010 and went back, and then everything came back.
Yeah.
This time, it's worse because the dollar, there is now not the worldwide currency that everything's benchmarked against. The dollar's overinflated. The housing market, the job market, everything's going south. And here we are again. Now, I learned from my mistakes, but I didn't pivot enough.
Yeah.
I didn't pivot enough, right? And back to the social media part, just because you're on social media doesn't make you make money, but then you got to learn how to get sponsors. You got to learn how to build your base. A brand.
Yeah.
And
merchandising.
yeah, and so now I've got this new tropics business that's starting up. I was like, yeah, is that my foot vibrating?
So yeah,
you got a
my
foot
best
massage here.
Calling.
I was like, so the new tropics business, we came out with 3 different variations of it. I thought we were good with the 4th one. I called the manufacturer, like, hey, look, Black Ice, here's the deal. I've talked with a lot of colleagues. The amount of following you have on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, in the tech space, this product is so new to the market. If something happens, you're going to get sued. What we should do is go with a more like type product, is like the other nootropics brands, like Alpha Brain. Joe Rogan talks about that. Mine's called HV Alpha. It's coming out.
Okay.
But I didn't want to copy. I said, I don't want to copy. No, we'll adjust some stuff. But these 2 new supplements, these 2 new ingredients are so new that you're taking a risk, and you could be done, right? And it worked great. I took it. I'm like, wow, I'm focused. I have ADHD. I'm all over the place. I'll be working. Oh, look at the purple squirrel. Hey, what time's the fight? Is there a football game on? Oh, what bank account? You know, and it's like, I spent 5 hours doing nothing but on social media.
Right.